Hey guys, it's Lovelxce. Welcome back to part 3 of my reading on Carly Russell's HOAX, the grand finale, for your entertainment. In this chapter, we'll explore the lie, delving into intriguing details. So let's take this journey together and uncover what the heavens have to say. Ready? Let's dive in.
We already stated one suggestion of a damaging lie in earlier parts, but there are others. In hindsight, obviously, it's easier to confirm. The planet describing how Carly communicates in this chart is Saturn. Saturn being retrograde is a troubling indication in traditional astrology. A retrograde planet is one that does not appear to visually move forward in the sky. This shows how she wouldn't be forthcoming with her words, she'd go back on them, and she'd cause damage. We cannot overlook the obvious indications of Pisces, with Saturn in this sign. Pisces is associated with secrecy and with Neptunian influence, speaks of a great imagination. This is especially so, with Neptune retrograde, as well, in Pisces. In certain context and inquiries, this is a compelling indication of a lie, considering Carly's situation. And this lie would involve children. This is shown by Neptune joined to the 5th house cusp, the heavenly house, an indicator of children. With the strong creative influence of Neptune in Pisces, she spun an imaginative tale, filled with detail and characters. Several news outlets report that the authorities were pretty much convinced it was a lie, shortly after investigating into her disappearance, before it was confirmed. We see that here, with the aspect Sun trine Neptune retrograde, from the sign of Cancer. The Sun represents the authorities in this chart. The Sun and Neptune are both in water signs, and this is said to speak of familiarity, commonality. Maybe this is showing, due to their everyday experience with liars, they intuitively caught on to what she was doing. The deceptive attempt felt familiar to what they've heard before. This commonality can show the police lying as well. The police admitted that, even during their press release about Carly missing, they knew more than they conveyed. Sun trine Neptune in hindsight shows a lie about a lie. We do understand the necessity of this evil though. If they rushed to expose her, it would blow back badly, especially if they were wrong. Lastly, the Sun in the 9th house, as above, so below, also showed the authorities knowledgeable about her trip plans, particularly the bus trip. Chapter 4, Carly's return. This part, feel free to skip it, is mainly for educational purposes, for those who are curious about how her return would have been shown. There were many arguments. First, we mentioned earlier. Her planet in a public house, the 10th house, shows her being found, and many of the planets over the horizon in the chart, especially her planet, is another argument. Symbolically, a lot of the energy is seen, and so she would be. Venus, ruler of the 12th house, is about to go retrograde. As mentioned earlier, a retrograde planet is one that appears to retreat visually in the sky. Retrograde planets are fortunate in the charts of missing persons as it symbolizes strongly a return back. With Venus ruling the 12th house, we see it shown that she wasn't able to commit to disappearing for long and would come back. Her local trips closer to where you live, is shown by Saturn. Saturn retrograde here in the 4th house strongly shows a return home. Saturn also represents here how her situation plays out generally, by ruling the 4th house, and also how her secrecy plays out, ruler of the 4th from the 12th house, these things both being a return. Lastly, Mars is opposing Saturn in this chart, an aspect. This shows her not going through with plans to travel, inner conflict, and with Mars in Virgo having a negative relationship with Libra, the 12th house ruler, she really did not want to be hidden. These are the compelling arguments of Carly's return. Chapter 5. What will become of Carly in the future? The midheaven, the 10th house, will describe Carly's reputation. The ruler of this house, the Sun, is joined to the star Pollux. This star is malevolent and said to sometimes indicate cruel twists of fate. We think many would agree that the evidence of Carly's hoax was a cruel twist. The South Node, a marker of damage, joined to the Greek lot, liberty of person, also suggests cruel irony. Let's look at the 12th house again, this time in the context of imprisonment. Will Carly go to prison? Since our reading, Carly has been formally charged. ABC News reports, authorities in Alabama said Friday they filed criminal charges against a woman who confessed to fabricating a story that she was kidnapped after stopping to check on a toddler she saw walking on the side of an interstate highway. Carlee Russell was charged with false reporting to law enforcement and falsely reporting an incident, both misdemeanors that carry up to a year in jail, Hoover Police Chief Nick Dirtzes said. Russell turned herself into jail Friday and was released on bond, he said. We do see imprisonment ultimately. This is shown by Venus, prison, going on to join Mars, Carlee's planet. However, there are delays in this. Venus is about to go retrograde, and currently, Venus is in a different sign than Virgo. It may take longer than expected for this to happen. Carlee risks up to 2 years in prison for her charges and a $6,000 fine. With Mercury squared Jupiter, Mercury being the government's finances, and Jupiter Carlee's, this looks like she will be paying a fine. Carlee's lawyer is the Moon in Cancer, in the 9th house. This is an indication of a very, very good lawyer. SK Pop reports, we paraphrase them a bit here, in the wake of the admission, it appears Russell has retained one of the best attorneys in Birmingham, Alabama, who specializes in criminal defense. Emory Anthony, a native of Birmingham, who served as Miles Law School Dean, an assistant district attorney and municipal court judge, is revered as one of the best criminal defense lawyers in Alabama. He led the Jefferson County Progressive Democratic Council, the oldest historically black political organization in the state, and ran for mayor of Birmingham in 2009, end quote. The Moon in Cancer vibes with emotional security, comfort, and protection. ABC News reports Emory said, he is working with the city of Hoover and the Hoover Police Department to make sure Carlee is taken care of and the city feels comfortable, end quote. The Moon in Cancer shows how he would argue for Carlee from an emotional angle to sway the public. SK Pop also reports, Anthony said that Russell was contrite for her actions and begged for people's forgiveness for orchestrating an elaborate hoax, end quote. WVTM 13 News reports Anthony begging the public for compassion, even though he still refuses to divulge why Carlee did what she did. We see her lawyer possibly having some success. With the Moon in Cancer, this is a powerful placement. However, the Moon is moving towards the Sun in this chart, the Sun representing authorities. This is usually a disastrous indication, and it's suggested the authorities prevailing against her lawyer. How Carlee moves forward will be troubling. We do still see mental unwellness and a questionable heart in need of healing. We mentioned the South Node here earlier. It's also joined to the Greek lot, goodness of the soul. This is a very damaging suggestion. What do you think it could mean? The Moon trine ascendant must be speaking more of Carlee's lawyer than taking an actual trip. Despite what's going on with the Moon and the Sun in this chart, we think her lawyer, Emory Anthony, will be a blessing and help give her that emotional support and guidance that she needs through the legal process.
This concludes my reading on Carlee Russell's infamous hoax. Thanks for watching. You might discover, by subscribing, more insightful messages from the heavens. Join my community of curious minds.
Amidst Saturn's solemn might, a Neptunian tale takes flight. Pisces realm, a lie took its form, a child lost, a deceptive storm. The authorities' sun, in Cancer's waters deep, familiar with deceit, secrets they do keep. A lie about a lie, they quietly knew, to expose too soon, repercussions drew. Venus will retrace its path in the sky, a return from hiding, she couldn't deny. Saturn's retrograde, a call to come back, inner conflict, no desire to stay hidden in black. Cruel twists of fate from Pollux' star, unveiled, a hoax, yet the truth afar. Charges laid, imprisonment in sight, yet delays in justice may prolong the fight. Her lawyer, the Moon, in Cancer's embrace, emotional sway, seeking the public's grace. A plea for forgiveness, for reasons untold, the request for forgiveness, still, too bold. Troubling future, a questionable heart, a plea for help, mental wellness departs. With South Node's mark, a soul in distress, may she find healing, her soul to address. Through troubled waters, her lawyer's hand, an emotional support, a guiding stand blessed by the Moon, the ascendant's trine, may Carlee find solace, as stars align.